So what do you need in your pack for a multiple day backcountry elk hunt? That's the question we're going to be answering in this video. It's actually a two-part video. First part is more of a pack list type, so you'll be able to see all the different items that you need to make a complete system. The second part is going to be my exact gear list. You'll be able to see the exact brand that I use, and I'm also going to show you how I pack it in my pack. So if you're here just for the pack list and you just want to know what you need to take along, that'll be in the first part. Or if you're here for the gear list and what's in my pack, you can just skip ahead to the second part of the video. I also made these lists downloadable. They'll be in the link down below the video. You can check that out. There's actually two files. So the first one is more of a checklist. It has blanks where you can actually write in the gear that you have. You could even write in the weight or the price or whatever you want to do with it. I find it very helpful to have a list when I'm packing, just to kind of double check myself, make sure I have everything. So that's kind of what the one is, kind of a template for you to use. The second one is my exact gear list, so you can look at that. You can see what each item weighs, and yeah, it's just there for your reference. So yeah, we'll get into the video and hopefully you enjoy. Alright guys, this is a what's in my pack video. This is basically what I would take on an elk hunt. I'm not going to be getting into food and stuff like that. This is mainly just the gear, and this would be good for, you know, if you're just going overnight or if you're going for multiple days. If you're new to backpacking, it's pretty easy to overpack your pack with little gadgets, this and that, stuff that you actually never need. So I kind of have it broke down to different systems and what you need in that system. And it doesn't have to be this exact system. It can be, you know, you could have a different sleeping bag, you have you know, a different tent, whatever, and it'll still be a very efficient and simple setup for your pack. So I'll kind of go through the different systems first, and then I'll go through exactly what I use in my pack. So the system I'll start with is a clothing system. Basically you need a pair of pants, a base layer shirt, a pair of socks, rain gear if you choose to take rain gear, probably a hat, beanie, some gloves, and a pair of shoes, and depending on the weather, how cold it is, probably insulation jacket. I have that in here, and some base layer bottoms, which I have in here as well. Then you're also going to need a sleeping system, tent, sleeping pad. I take a little pillow, sleeping bag, and also my tent uses trekking poles for the poles. You also need a cooking and drinking system. I have a 2-liter water bladder in my pack. I have a jet boil, the spoon, extra water bottle, water filter, and you're probably going to want some backup purification tablets. Your safety system, I guess is what you could call it. I have a little Garmin inReach and first aid kit. Take a paper map of the area I'm going to be hunting, a lighter, and some black tape. Kill kit, I have everything in here. Knife, game bags, sharpener, depending on the knife you're using, what you need for that. Maybe a tarp, some rope to hang up some game bags, stuff like that. Then you kind of have a personal system, I guess. Wasn't really sure what to call it, but stuff like your camera, if you take that, headlamp, extra batteries for your headlamp, for your camera, extra SD cards. Of course, you have binoculars, rangefinder, wind checker, extra calls, bugle, stuff like that. Alright, now that I kind of went through the stuff that you need in your pack for a wilderness hunt, I'm going to go through and show you everything that I have and that I used to fill up all those slots. I feel pretty good about the system I've had. I've got a lot of advice from different people, a lot from the guys from EXO, which is the pack that I use, and kind of personalized a gear list for me. And it's never always stays the same. You always try maybe something a little different. This year I'm trying a new sleeping bag, and you just kind of build up and you get comfortable with the system that you have. So I'll start out with the clothing system. For pants, I use KUIU attack pants. They perform very well for archery season. They're just a little thicker than a lot of hiking pants, but then they have the hip vents along the side that you can open up and vent out. So early mornings when it's cold, I usually don't wear a base layer with them because they're thick enough, and then in the middle of the day in the afternoons I can open the vents and still be cool enough and comfortable. And for the top, I like to use a merino wool. This is the KUIU 145 long sleeve, quarter zip. So that, I just about always am wearing this. If it's a little cold, you can pull the sleeves down. It has thumb holes in the end of the sleeves, which I really like. And if it's hot and you're sweating a lot, it wicks the moisture away really well. And you can also, with the quarter zip, you can zip that thing way down and get a lot of ventilation. You can also, pull the sleeves up. It's just really versatile, super lightweight, and I'm wearing it all the time. For socks, I usually have a couple farm to feet socks. There's a lot of good brands out there. This is just what I'm currently using. Then I usually take a pair of gloves. I have two different ones. These are just really lightweight pair. I love these if it's just a little chilly, even if it drops down to 30s and 40s. This will just take the edge off. If it's calling for snow, rain, or something, I'll take these, which these are water resistant. A little heavier, but definitely worthwhile if you're going to keep you a little more comfortable. I usually take a beanie along. I usually sleep with one of these on, or if it's cold, wear that. Rain gear, I have the KUIU Northridge rain gear. It's just their basic rain gear. Nothing real fancy about it, but I don't always take it. I always have it in the truck at the trailhead, and if they're calling for rain or a lot of rain, I'll throw in rain gear. It has definitely saved us in the past. It's not always nice to hunt in the rain, but where we use it a lot is if we're trying to cover distance. We want to be, another ridge over when it quits raining, so we'll throw on the rain gear and go. If you use name brand high performance clothing, one rain shower, you're not going to need to take rain gear. This stuff dries out extremely fast. Even if you're soaked, in a matter of an hour, you can be totally dry again. Also on me, I use the KUIU bino harness with a rangefinder pouch on there. I use Vortex 12x50s. I like to have a little higher power if I'm in more open country. Then I can put them on a tripod, and I don't carry a spotter and 12x50s at the same time. I usually just carry 12x50s. I have in the side pocket some extra calls, some chapstick. Other side of a wind checker. I usually keep my phone underneath here, which has my maps on it. Currently for footwear, I'm using crispy Thors. Used them, let's see, last year, I think it was first year I used them. Liked them pretty good. Totally waterproof. Yeah, don't have much bad to say about them. Okay, that's pretty much what I have on me. The rest of this goes in my pack. I think I'll get my pack up here and I'll pack it into my pack so you can see how I do it, and I'll also cover what everything is as it's going in. So, as I mentioned before, I'm using the EXO Mountain Gear pack. This is the 4800. It's maybe slightly big for what I use it for. We like to go about 3 days at a time. Plenty of space in here. You're not gonna, at least I'm not gonna run out of space. So on the pack, right now it just has the water bladder in here. And one thing I do like about this model of the XO versus some of the older ones, it has a sleeve for your water bladder right in the top. I like the weight of the water being right in the center versus being off to the side. That's a really cool feature. I usually carry bear spray on the side and a hip pouch. Depends. I might put a camera in here, my phone, depending. It's just nice to have a little pouch there. On this side I have a little hook from High Point Products. I can put my bow in there. It's actually new, so I'm not sure if I'm going to like that or not. So to start with, I put my sleeping bag in the bottom. I have a Enlightened Equipment Revelation quilt. Like I said before, it's new for this year, so I'm not sure. It's my first year going to a quilt versus a sleeping bag. I definitely shaved a lot of weight versus the sleeping bag I had before, so I'm happy about that. But yeah, we'll see how I like the quilt. I use the XO's dry bag. It's sized perfectly to fit inside the bag of the pack, and it's totally waterproof, so I like to just stuff my sleeping bag down the bottom of that. I usually throw my pad in there, which this is the Sea to Summit ultralight insulated pad. Throw that in there, and the pillow, which is a Sea to Summit Arrows pillow. I'm not sure if that's how you say it or not. Just an inflatable pillow. Love that thing. Yeah, and that's pretty much all I have in there. With these down sleeping bags, you can really compress them down. But I like to stick the bag in the bottom before I really do much compressing. Just zip it up part way. The dry bag, it's waterproof, so you can trap air in there. So I usually stick my hand down on the inside and just compress it down. And then once it feels pretty compressed, then I just shove the rest of the dry bag down and off to the side a little bit. As you can see, that doesn't take up much room once you have it all compressed. Then I usually I don't really have a exact way of putting stuff in. I just throw stuff in here. My cook system, jet boil, canister of fuel, and I stick the spoon along the side. I think this is the Sea to Summit titanium spork, maybe something like that. Throw my tent in here. This is a homemade tarp shelter that I've been using for the last couple of years. It's super lightweight. I can actually compress it down quite a bit more if I want to, but I usually don't compress stuff down terribly much. I like to use the compression straps on the pack once I have everything in to just kind of cinch it all down. The kill kit, these are Ovis sacks. They're boned out bags. I have a knife in here. This is a Outdoor Edge razor blades. Have a bunch of extra blades for that. Have some flagging tape. Have cord. I think there's a little tarp that came with the game bags, like you can lay out and put your meat on. Maybe a pair of gloves in here. I don't know if I'll use those or not, but they're in here in case I want them. Throw that in here. Then I have one of these organizer sacks. These are from XO. It's a first aid kit. I just bought a first aid kit off of Amazon and kind of customized it myself. Then I took out a lot of the small little band-aids and stuff, put in some butterfly band-aids, have a tourniquet, some fast clotting gauze, stuff like that. And I also have a little lighter, and I wrap duct tape around the lighter. Just, it's always nice to have that stuff. And I don't have fire starter in here right now, but I usually put some fire starter in this pouch, and then I put that right in here. Then I put my extra clothes bag in here. I have base layer. These are Kuyu. I think these are the Peloton 97s maybe. I absolutely love these things because they're zip off. They're only 3/4 length, so they're above your boots. They don't have that wadding up in your boots, and they totally zip off, which, yeah, is unbelievably handy. Don't have to take off your shoes and stuff just to take your base layer bottoms off. Then I, not always, but sometimes take this is just a merino wool tee. Really, like if you're hiking out and you don't want your long sleeve, it comes in handy for that. They weigh almost nothing, just a couple ounces. And then I use for insulation layer, I use I think this is the Kenai jacket. I got it without the hood. I don't really care for a hood unless it's super windy. But these things are super light. I forget what the exact weight is on them, and they pack down nice. Maybe not quite as much as down, but super warm. And another very cool feature is a lot of times in the morning you like to have a little insulation, but then as soon as you start hiking you start sweating or warming up. But you can actually control your temperature extremely well with this, because you can open these pit zips and they're extremely large and it ventilates really well, and you can unzip your front zipper, of course, and you can really regulate your temperature, especially if you have the 1/4 zip base layer on yet too, because you can unzip that, 1/4 of the way, unzip your coat, and very versatile system as far as regulating your temperature. Another thing I should mention is on your base layer, the Kuyu base layer bottoms, the zipper along the side, you can't really get to it through your pants because of the mesh in the hip vent on the attack pants. But if you unzip those and your pants, you can get a lot of ventilation there too. And the rain gear also has vents in exact same places, so you can vent all your clothing in the exact same spot. The rain pants have on the side, and the jacket has it in the pit as well. Extremely versatile. Love that. And I pack all of that in a Kuyu boned out game bag. I like to have these just in case I need an extra game bag. And I don't always have all this stuff in here. My coat, if we're hiking in early in the morning, I may be wearing this, or if it's already really cold. So if I think I'm going to need it right away, I may put it in a side pocket or somewhere where it's a little more accessible. But majority of the time I have it in this game bag in my pack, and it's actually pretty accessible in that location because you stuff it in right here, and it's right at the top of this horseshoe zipper, so you can just unzip it, unzip this bag, and it's right there. Then there's a little pocket here. I usually put my Garmin InReach Mini right in there, and I have this little organizer bag. Have just like toothbrush, some toothpaste, yeah, just basic personal items like that. And that is it for the side, for inside. I have this little Hydro Pack water bottle. Haven't used it a lot, but it's a collapsible water bottle. I like the wide mouth. I can dump my mountain offs in there and shake it up and then collapse it down. Like I said, I haven't used it a lot, but I've had problems in the past with, a hard water bottle busting, and so I decided to try something like this that, you know, is collapsible, and then it packs down pretty nice, and I just keep that in my side pocket. If I'm taking rain gear, I'm going to put it right in this pocket here. Usually what I do is just kind of fold it to the approximate length of the pocket, and then just shove it in there. And this is a stretch pocket, so then usually my food gets put right here on the top. This can usually, once you have everything in there, kind of compress it down a little bit more, and that leaves me with a lot of room. I have down to about here that I can put food in there. So in the big pocket in the lid, I usually have my day's worth of food in here. So usually when we pack food, we have 1 bag of food per day, and then I just pull the bag out that I'm going to use that day, stick it right in here, and it's super accessible. Then I also throw one of these organizers in here. This is just has a I have a microfiber towel. I have some extra batteries in here. Yeah, just some basic stuff that's nice to have handy. And there's another nice little clip right here, so this thing's never going to fall out on you, and you're not going to lose it. So that's usually what I have in there. In the top here, I like to keep my water filter. So I should mention that I like to use this quick detach system. This system works extremely well. It's a Sawyer mini squeeze filter. You can buy these things at Walmart, and I use just a 64-ounce dirty bag. And you get to a creek, water source, you fill this thing full of water, screw this on to your bag, and all you have to do, you put this little splice kit in here, you just disconnect your drinking tube and plug this right into it, and you just squeeze filter your water right into your bladder. You never have to take your bladder out of your pack. It's pretty fast and way less hassle than trying to pull out your bladder and hand pumping water into it. I usually get a new one of these every year, because depending on the water that you're filtering, they can tend to plug up, and they can really slow down if you get a lot of dirt and junk in them. I like to keep that nice and handy right here in the top pocket in my lid. And I also keep my headlamp in there. There it is. Oh, this is a Black Diamond Spot headlamp. Really like these. The main thing I like about it is you can lock it. You press and hold this button down until the light flashes here, and then it's locked. It's not going to turn on in your pack and drain the battery. It has happened to me before, and it's not nice to be without a headlamp. These can be, some people don't like them because there's only one button and there's so many functions that you can do with the one button, but I found it not too confusing, and I would recommend this headlamp. Trekking poles, I need these for my tent. I don't always hike with them. I do sometimes. If I don't, I just shove them in a side pocket. Tripod is another thing that's optional for me. It kind of depends on the country that I'm hunting. If it's a little more open, I like to bring my adapter for my binoculars, and I can set up in glass. I usually stick that in the side pocket as well. Actually, I'll probably put it in the other side. I like to take a decoy with me when if I'm elk hunting. This is a heads-up decoy, just a cow elk. It's saved us in the past. You get in a situation where the elk think they hear something, you flash this at them. I like to slide it between the frame and the bag, right along the bottom. Okay, bugle tube, I usually carry this. Sometimes I'll strap it along the back, depending if I'm going to be hiking a long ways or not. Anyway, I think that's everything that I'm going to need, minus food and water, for any backpacking trip. So I'm going to cinch it all down here, and then we'll put on the scales and see how much weight we've got. Alright, there she is. 24.4 pounds is what I'm at with this, the way this is set up. And it could be less than that depending on the weather. It might not take rain gear, might not take the tripod, and that'll drop it a good little bit. That tripod is actually pretty heavy, and we'll see what we got without that in there. Oh, I forgot one thing. I like to throw these on the back of my pack, just to wear around camp and stuff. I used flip-flops a couple years ago, and I like these either Crocs or slides a little better because you can wear them when you have socks. They weigh almost nothing. They're about right at 21 pounds. Set up just like this. And yeah, you'd be set to go. So if you have any ideas on packing or gear that you think works better, just leave a comment down below. If you liked what you saw here, learned anything, please like and subscribe, and hopefully we'll be seeing you this fall with this exact setup.